This review is going to be pretty sweet. We have here another UPerfect monitor. I have reviewed a bunch of them in the past, many of them, and I use them. I recommend UPerfect because every time I review them, they knock it out of the park. And every time I use them, it's something that I want to use. They sent this over. I don't take any sponsors or anything like that. No money, nada, zip, nulch, nada. But anyway, so they sent this over here. This is a 14-inch, geez, that was hard to get off. This is a 14-inch OLED monitor, 3K, which is dope. So it's going to be not such high resolution like 4K that's like too hard to run, but also not low resolution like 1080p. And it's a portable monitor, so it's going to be portable. And I'm going to use it with a handheld. This handheld, to be precise, and also a laptop. There's a laptop off the camera as well. This is a handheld here that I've been working with recently, worked on a review of it. It's covered in fingerprints because I just finished it. It's a 10.95-inch 1X player using the G3 Extreme, the brand new chip from Intel. It's a nice big screen, so it'll be a nice pairing with this for turning this little thingy here into more productivity powerhouse work. So here's a look at the UPerfect website. Of course, you can buy it on places like Amazon, but I'll link in the video description, put a link in the video description down below to this here. If I can find any type of affiliate links, please consider using them. They do support the channel, especially since I do not take sponsors or payments. None. So it's you guys who help. Anyway, so the code here, or the product number here, GR14BU. It's a 14-inch 3K OLED at 120 hertz, which is fantastic. Finer resolution than 1600p, 1440p. Not quite as high as 4K, so it's in the middle of being hard to run, but it's also going to be very dense for productivity in gaming. 120 hertz refresh, obviously fantastic. And it's touchscreen, which is awesome. These handhelds don't necessarily have a keyboard hooked up to them, so you're going to lose interface. Mine does that I'm working with today, but in general, say I hooked up to a Legion Go or my 1X player that does not have a keyboard, you lose any way to interact with the device. So having touchscreen is critical. Now, of course, you know, it is an OLED, so you do get extremely rich darks. We'll show that in the video, of course, obviously. But the OLED is going to be very, very, very impressive for things like gaming, especially if you're using a handheld or a laptop that has an OLED. It kind of sucks when your external monitor does not have OLED tech. So for me, I mean, I'm right now, actually, it's a little bit later, I'm using a handheld that does have an OLED, and it's really nice to be able to transition. And then, of course, you do have those gaming-focused features. 3K is, again, not quite as hard to run as 4K, so that's really nice, but it is much more pixel dense than something like 1080p or even 1440p, so that's fantastic. 120 hertz refresh with 0.1 millisecond response time is crazy good. It's crazy good. And then for me, because I also do professional stuff and I guess also for gaming and that kind of stuff, we have 100% DCI-P3, huge color space. But then we're moving up here in this model here up to 120 hertz DCI-P3 color space. I mean, obviously very good for creative, that kind of stuff. You can go into different modes, but for gaming and content consumption, that's huge because you're going to get the richest possible colors that even 100% DCI-P3 can't show. And it is calibrated, delta E of under 2, sorry. So you're going to be getting a nice calibration on it. So it's not just a freaking gorgeous screen, it's also going to be color accurate. And brightness, I mean, OLED, something you always worry about is brightness, but we have 500 nits, so that's awesome. Very nice bright panel, even for, you know, if you're in a business office or something like that, it's gonna be fantastic. Did you jump in? I hope you did. So it's got a protector on it. Metal chassis, as a UPerfect would do. They give the metal a chassis. Right, little kickstand right into it, so that's nice. Where is that thing? I have a little stand, like a UPerfect stand, that's a dual thing. Like you can put a vase in there. This vase is size, but it doesn't have the bottom. But I have a little dual, so I can actually make this thing stand up taller. I just don't know where I put that. Anyways, so that is like a vase style standard, but you can put that in there. But it has a little kickstand built in, and of course it's metal, so that's sick. Obviously, very good. Right side here, we do have a mini HDMI. So you can use that if you want to hook it up to an HDMI. This little guy here does not have HDMI. The laptop just ever so slightly behind it, which is also portable, does have HDMI. So that's good. One of these you're going to use for power if you're on HDMI, because HDMI does not supply power, so you can go power and HDMI. However, if you're using USB-C, you can get the signal and power off of that. Sometimes we'll see if it is enough that the device, every device is different, but if you have a high-powered device with a full functioning USB, it should be enough to get this thing up to good power as well, display, all that kind of stuff. If you have kind of like a crappy thing, you may not get that, but it should still work, like as long as you have a display out. And then you have power, menu buttons, brightness, that kind of stuff there. speakers on it as well. That's kind of hard to see on camera, but there are speakers there. Speakers are important because, you know, this device here, for example, has speakers, not a big deal. However, if I was hooking this up to, let's say, like a Nintendo Switch or a Steam machine or a Xbox or something like that. Xbox, Steam machine don't have speakers at all. There are none. Or on a PC or something like that, there are no speakers. So you don't have audio output unless you have something like this. But even if I hook it up to something like this here, or I hook it up to a different device or a gaming device or something like that, if this is the primary screen, you can see me reflected there. Right in front of this, right here, I want speakers to come from here. I don't want speakers to come from off to the side. So something like that. Again, it has a thing built in, but we'll just, yeah, why not? It's kind of cool, I guess. That's kind of cool. I like that. That's neat. I like it. Yeah, whatever. And we're doing some handheld stuff because then I can do something like this, right? I can have that down there and hook it up like that. I can have this over here. I can have this underneath. I can have it to the side. I can do all these different options here. So yes, it's definitely a touch brighter. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, it was dim without that, but it is definitely a touch brighter. So if you are supplying power from your tablet or your laptop, right? You don't even have anything plugged into the wall. Either you're getting power directly to this and then it's going into here, or everything is like on battery. It will be reasonably bright up here. Not as bright, but reasonably bright, right? It'll be, I would say I measured that around like 250 to 300 nits from my eye. Yeah, it's not scientific, but I do this for a living. And that's like, trust me, I've tested hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of screens. So I would say it's around there. Now this, I would say, is pretty reasonable. This laptop, or this handheld 3-in-1, God, what is it actually called? It's a laptop right now. Gets up to 500 nits, right? So this is up to a 500 nit here. And these look the same to me. I'm not noticing any difference here. So it looks good. It looks quite nice, actually. It looks really, really good. Some wires set up as well. If you put this down to the side, of course, you could tuck the wires a little better. This, I have it set up so the wires are exposed, but it doesn't matter. I think it looks really cool. So I'm going to do the video like this today rather than side by side. I always do my videos side by side. I always do that. It's just like, that's what I do. And I take my mobile screen with me to work, to a cafe, and I set it down on the table and I set my laptop down beside it and I do work left to right. This looks cool and I like it. Okay, now it might be a little hard to show up on this camera because it doesn't have the best colors. So what I'm actually going to do here is bring in my phone as well. And you can see here we have 100% DCI-P3, 120% DCI-P3. Regardless, I mean, technically the one above is a higher color space, but they're pretty close. But what we're seeing here is incredible vibrancy. On camera, these look weirdly exactly the same, but this does look slightly more rich in person. It's really hard to tell though. But anyways, you can see here we're looking at very good color space. If this was not 100% DCI-P3 or 120% DCI-P3 in the case of the two of them, these would be like a pinkish salmon almost color, potentially like a little bit of an orange type thing. And they just wouldn't have that, yeah, they just wouldn't be able to push into the red color space. Technically, I've looked at calibrated screens, like professionally calibrated level screens, and they're both close. I think this one is actually slightly more accurate, ever so slightly more accurate, but they're both fantastic. Really, really, really nice screens there. Now, of course, one other area here that is going to really excel on the top one. Now, they both have, basically the same colors. There's no real difference there. But where the top one does excel is, it's an OLED screen, whereas the bottom one is an IPS. So generally speaking, you can see here, bring that down to about what I see. Right, significantly better blacks on the top screen there, right? And this is with the lights on. If you turn off the lights, it becomes even more dramatic. So the colors on them are basically exactly the same. There's no difference there. They both have around the same pixel density, but the top one is an OLED. So these pixels here are actually off. Technically, these are not. These are on. So if you turn off the lights, get even darker, it becomes even more obvious that those are technically on. Maybe it's not so noticeable in like if you're in a bright game or something like that. There's a small areas where there's black scenes, but if you're in contiguous dark areas like that, it's very obvious. Now here I'm actually seeing that I think the top one actually is slightly brighter, not brighter, sorry, slightly more vivid, and it makes sense. It is a slightly higher color space. This is still an incredible 100% DCI-P3, but that's 120, and you can really see it a little bit in the greens. It's just ever so slightly more vibrant. Both obviously quite good, but yeah, it's just such a nice screen. And that's one of the nice things here, right? Like, I pay all this money to get, a tablet like that or a laptop like that with a super nice screen. And then I get a, portable monitor and the screen looks like crap. That's no fun, right? Until I started getting into the UPerfect stuff back in the day, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I'd get a portable monitor and it would look terrible. And I'd be comparing, the portable monitor that was garbage next to my, really high quality screen, because I only buy stuff with high quality screens for my personal use. I don't want a bad color space. And then it was always a mismatch. And I hated the portable monitor because it looked so bad, right? Even if it was like a high resolution, just the colors were so garbage that I didn't want to use it because it was like just a huge contrast. Here, I'm putting all this money into this really nice, handheld 3-in-1 here with this beautiful screen. And if I buy a portable monitor that I want to add on to it, I want to have comparable screen in terms of colors, right? Look at how incredibly vibrant that looks. And the nice thing is because it's an OLED, down here, this is like an absolute black there. And so the card looks more realistic because we have these absolute blacks over here, in some of these elements over here. It just looks way more realistic if you have such a situation as that, right? When you have these absolute blacks, it's gonna look a lot better, obviously. Right? It looks more 3D, there's more depth in it. And this is not even a dark game. In a dark game, the OLED, look at that, see? If you don't have good contrast, when you come into scenarios where like that, the car back of the car is black, and then all of a sudden you go into a bright, you can really see the way that it contrasts between the two. It looks killer. But in general, look how freaking nice the screen looks here, right? I'm happy they sent this because before this I did have a 4K one from UPerfect and it was an awesome screen, and I was using that before, but I've been gaming more with an APU, like this here, than I've been gaming with a dedicated gaming laptop of late. And 4K is a bit much for an APU. Let's be honest, it's an APU. It's a little bit tough. And this is, next gen, or current gen, I guess it would be Intel G3E, cream of the crop for Intel kind of stuff, APU. So it's definitely capable of pushing 1800p with some scaling and that kind of stuff, especially with XeSS. It looks incredible, right? It looks so nice here. I was actually originally going to do it in the daylight, but then I was like, wait a minute, this is an OLED. So, you can show off the colors in the day scene very well, but I was like, you know what, I want to show off the, the incredible OLED. And you can see there, just how much richness that adds, the fact that you have that deep black in areas like this, where it really does make it seem like so much more deep, right? Over here, it's obviously quite dark. We'll go into the city and get some brightness here, but yeah, this is an 1800p screen. So it's a little bit higher resolution than what this tablet is used to, 1600p, and it can do it. As you can see, it can do it again 83 FPS. And this is an APU. This isn't like a dedicated NVIDIA graphics. This is just Intel iGPU. Talk about how far Intel has come, right? So we'll come in here though, and we'll go into the, I have some scaling by the way, obviously, but whatever. That's one of the nice things about high resolution. You can use more scaling and have it look better. So if this was 1080p and you were using scaling, it would be a little bit more suspect. When you're at high resolution and use some scaling like XeSS, it still looks great, right? That's how scaling works. Anyways, so we'll come in here to the city and you can see here, we get very high refresh rates. We're getting from 120. We're kind of leveraging that. We're not quite all the way up there, but we're able to leverage a lot of that. We're also going to, and this is, depending on the scene, this game's pretty hard to run, but you get it. Then, of course, we do have that really nice response time. 0.5 milliseconds response time on OLEDs is generally very nice. In a game like this, it matters, but it really does matter if you're playing a competitive shooter. It's going to matter even more, right? And 1800p is a nice sweet spot where, you're not getting up to 4K, right? You're not at 4K level, so it's not that hard to run, but it is still, pixel dense, very, very pixel dense. And you can see here, the colors are quite nice. We have those really vibrant reds from the DCI-P3 color space, just absolutely popping off the screen there. It's gonna look incredible, right? And then of course you have those really nice DCI-P3 color space, reds just popping off the screen there. If you didn't have a good color space, those reds would look like a gross kind of pinky orange type thing, where it's just popping off. And because it's an OLED, look at that, how cool does that look, right? You wouldn't be able to look at the lights shine by when a car drives. It's so sick. Right, you get the absolute blacks on the back of the car, almost realistic, the brightness in the front. When that guy drives past, it gives you that lighting. Come on, that looks freaking cool. Don't even lie. Don't even lie. Don't stop lying to yourself and admit that's cool. This is a dope-ass handheld, obviously, too, but I'm also showing this monitor. It's a really good pairing. These go really well together. Look at that. Come on. Stop lying to yourself. It's really good. I won't hear of it. When I go to the comment section, I want to see glaze. Nothing but glaze. Just like I'm glazing this. Hashtag no sponsor, by the way. Hashtag don't even try because I don't take sponsors. But you can use the affiliate links if you want, viewers. That helps me. Helps me stay sponsor free. It's a really, really good monitor though, to be honest. Yeah, look at it. It's just, I mean, it's just fantastic, right? Excellent response time, killer color space here. You get the OLED benefits there. It is glossy, but it's not like hyper glossy like some OLEDs. My primary laptop, which is off screen, is also an OLED, but it's more glossy than this. I don't know why, it just is. It just has absolutely no reflection handling. It's just a mirror. This one's not as bad, but yeah, come on. Look how good this looks. You owe it to yourself. It's not even that expensive. You owe it to yourself to not use a crappy screen. I'm going to tell you guys that. Life is too short for a crappy screen, right? You can save money on lots of places. I mean, it's not even that expensive, but you can save money in lots of places where you're not having to get the best, the 5090 or something. You get the 5080 or whatever, right? Or the 5070. But don't compromise and get yourself a crappy screen, especially when they're not that expensive in the first place. Like, they're very affordable. Something like this is very affordable.